Hari Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvadha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Param Vedanta warmly welcomes everyone to session 3 of our Brihadaranyaka Upanishad study. In our last session, we started chapter 1, which has 80 mantras and 6 important parts called Brahmanas. The first Brahmana is Ashwamedha Virat Brahmana. Second is Agni Virat Brahmana. Third is Prana or Hiranyagarbha Upasana. Fourth is Purusha Vida Brahmana. And fifth is Sapta Anna Brahmana. And sixth is Ukta Brahmana. Among these, the Purusha Vida or Hiranyagarbha Brahmana is especially important one. Hiranyagarbha Upasana is a powerful practice and it mentions the benefits and limitations of Upasana. But it's good to remember that all spiritual practices give limited results. They help us to grow, but the final goal is beyond these results. In today's session, we will look at the summary of chapter 2. Here are the main topics we will learn about. The first topic is Adhyarupa or Apavada or Neti Neti. The second is Sat Brahmana and deep sleep. The third is a secret name for the Upanishad. The fourth one is types of renunciation, sannyasa, vidvat, and vividisha. Fifth one is whom do you love the most and why? These deep ideas will be explained in a simple and clear way by our respected teacher, Dr. Timmappa Hegde sir, who always helps us understand better. Let's begin our journey into chapter 2 with his guidance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Radhaji, for the introduction and a brief overview of the last class. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Special pranams to both our acharyas, Swami Paramarthananda ji and Swami Anubhavananda ji. Swami Anubhavananda ji's detailed talks verse by verse is available on YouTube. And Swami Paramarthananda ji has spoken twice in detail with Shankara Bhashyam on the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Based on this, I'm sharing a little overview. Even before we go into this chapter, there are a few topics that I want you to focus on because I will not be touching this again. One should be very clear about, I have touched on this in many classes, particularly when we were in the Brihadaranyaka. What is this Adhyaropa and what is Apavada? Whenever we use the word Neti, Neti, we remember Adi Shankaracharya, but the original description comes many times in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad because one way to describe Brahman who has no attributes is by telling us, no, not this, not this, not this. And we are now taught to negate, I am not the man, I am not this body, I am not the mind, I am not mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. Then when you go on and on negating, you will come finally to somebody who's negating, and that you analyze when you see a person who's sleeping. That we will do in today's class. The analysis, who am I in deep sleep? Now, these are all the important topics. I will spend time when we come to those topics. We have highlighted this, be attentive. The first topic that I will touch before I come to the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is, where is this world? This world we say is Jagan Mithya. This world is not so real. It is impossible to believe because this world affects us. The world tangibly affects us in so many ways. From the time I wake up to the time I sleep, the world is affecting me in ways good or bad. You will remember Sri Krishna saying, Matra Sparsha Sukaunteya, Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Adaya. They go on happening all the time. In today's class, we will be touching on Maitreyi Brahmana. In Maitreyi Brahmana is a discussion between the great sage Yagnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. The story will come later on how when he decides to take sannyas and he wants to divide his property between his two wives, Maitreyi asks him, with all the wealth that you're going, is it going to give me fulfillment? So he says, not really. It'll give you all the comforts, but he was a little hesitant. He said, not fulfillment. Then she said, if it is not going to get fulfillment, can I come with you and come as a student? You're taking sannyas. I will also take a sannyas and be your student. Now, being a former wife and a student, she had the freedom to keep asking him a lot of questions. So one day he said, now stop asking questions. I will ask you a question. And this dialogue, I want you to answer as if I'm asking you, where are you? And she replies, I'm in your ashram. Where is this ashram? In Karnataka. Where is Karnataka? In India. Where is India? It is in the world. Where is this world in the whole space? That means in this big galaxy, the Milky Way. Now, where is this whole space with all this, the satellites and the sun and the moon and the stars? The entire space is there in my mind. And where is my mind? My mind is in consciousness. Ask yourself this question again and again. Where are we? Really, we are in our minds, and our mind is in Atma. The other important topic is, what is the difference between Adhyasa and Adhyaropa? Now, whenever I have half knowledge, that means towards the evening, I'm seeing something because the light is not good. I see something, but I'm not sure what it is. It is actually a rope lying, but I imagine a snake. If I'm able to imagine a snake on a rope, that means there is a certain error. That is called Adhyasa. Adhyaropa is a deliberate superimposition by Vedantic teachers. Initially, they accept what is called the triangular format. Because for all of us religious people, it is easy to believe in a God who's a creator, who's kind, who's all providing. And if there is difficulty, I go to him. Why is some people having a good time? Some people are having a bad time. We'll say it is because of your past karma. And therefore, what should I do? I should do various sadhanas. So this triangular format is a very good format up to a certain stage. Like in the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, it is okay. But when you come to understanding the nature of God, who created God, now then you get into a logical problem. You have, see, this world is created by God, but then who created God? Now you have a problem. You are not able to answer those questions. So when you come to the topic of creation, you come to a state where you have no answers. So that is where you have to come to the highest learning of Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. What is Brahma Satyam? Each one of you who is listening, you are the only reality because you cannot negate yourself. Everybody else is an object of your experience. That means if I'm seeing a wall in front of me, the wall has become an image in my eyes and a thought in my mind, and it has become a mithya. Anybody whom I see has only become a thought. The reality is me. So this me who's listening is the only reality. everything else is of a lower order of reality. That is what you say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And Jivo Brahmaiva na apara. I am of the nature of Brahman. Now, this idea is possible by doing apavada to adhyaropa. That means you may have to say mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. So how do we do that? Initially, because of creation is there, so the teacher introduces the story of creation, accepts adhyaropa, accepts jiva jagat ishvara bandha moksha sadhana. This is all accepted. But now remember, at some stage, we have to be advanced students, otherwise we don't progress. What is our normal problem? In Vedanta class, everything looks good. But the moment we come out of class and we experience difficulty, we go back to the triangular format. Now, can I be in Vedanta? Then what happens? The teacher will convince you through Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi. And if the teacher is able to convince you that I am of the nature of Brahman, then the teacher will tell you Tattvam Asi in a very clear manner, and you understand and say Aham Brahmasmi. In the earlier classes, you had a Vidya Sutra. Atma iti eva upasita is Vidya Sutra. That means I need to see myself as Atma. And what is Avidya Sutra? Anya so aham iti yaha upasate saha na veda. If I go to a temple and I'm praying to the Lord, and if I see the Lord as apart from me, as other than me, that is avidya. These are the dictums that come in the last chapter that's called the Avidya Sutra. So these are called the commandments that come from. So, okay, I have understood. I accept all the teachings, and the Jiva Brahma Aikyam has become strong. Now I say Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham. I am none of all this. I am not my body and mind. And therefore, whatever happens to this body or any body around me, whatever happens to the world around me, cannot really affect me because I am of a higher order of reality. Now, this has set into my mind. The bridge between Jiva and Brahma has been established. Then we start doing removal of the scaffold, Apavada. Apavada is what? Mano Buddhi Ahankara. That means I say I'm not my body and I mean it also. I'm not my mind. I am not this Ahankara. I do the process of negation. I have no punya, no papa. There is no mantra. There is no tirtha. There is no more pilgrimages. There is no Veda. There is no Yagna. Then who am I? I'm of the nature of Sat, Chit, and Ananta that I have discovered. Now you have come to this stage. Now, is it time? Okay, one few more verses before we come to this Dashashloki. Now, there is a very wonderful composition by Adi Shankara called the Dashashloki, very similar to Mano Buddhi Ahankara, which goes na bhumir, na teyo, na bhumir, na toyam, na tejo, na vayuhu, just like Mano Buddhi Ahankara. Then he will come to tell you that can you analyze your own sleep? Shushuptik siddha. In deep sleep, who are you? Because manas, buddhi, ahankara, and chitta are all have gone. Then you will realize that the eko avashishtaha. Avashishtaha means if I remove all this, what is the residue that is left? Shiva kevaloham. I realize I am of the nature of auspiciousness. A little later, just in 2-3 minutes, I will request Madhu to chant this. And when he chants this last line should be in our mind for Nidityasan. We have studied this Shanti Pata, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Now, that Adaha is Purna, Idam is also Purnam. Then Purnat Purnamudachete, from that totality, this totality has come. Now here we come to the most difficult part of this mantra. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. What is this Purnasya? Now, there are two entities we have taken, and we say the Paramatma is Purna. Look onto the right side. Paramatma is Purna, Jivatma is also Purna, because essentially we are looking at from the Atma angle. From an Atma angle, from a Swarupa angle, both of us are the same. Now, from Paramatma and Jivatma, Purnasya Purnam Adaya. From this Paramatma and Jivatma, if I take out the Atma, what is left behind? That means from the wave and from the ocean, I remove water. Is there any residue? Is there anything called wave or ocean? Nothing is left. And what is left behind, the residue that is left behind, is only Purnam. That is what this mantra says. Now, we are in the topic of negation. Now, we must understand what cannot be negated and what can be negated. Now, what cannot be negated? See, I am real, you are real. See, the reality can never be negated. What is Sat can never be negated. Now, I will say there is a horn on my head, which is not there, Asat. What is not there, what is Asat, need not be negated. Then what must be negated? Supposing I see a rainbow. Now, the rainbow is an appearance, it is not real. So it is said this whole world is like that. What appears to be real, but it is not real, that must be negated. Now, whenever we accept something, now during Adhyaropa, I accept the world. When I accept the world, that means I know that this world is not Asat. If the world was Asat, I would not have accepted. I accept the world because it is appearing in front of me. So when you do Adhyaropa, I have accepted the world. So the world is not Asat. When I do Apavada and negate this world, it means this world is not Sat. So that means this world does not come under the category of Sat, it does not come under the category of Asat. So it is neither Sat nor Asat. So we say it is Sadasat. To say Sadasat, not Sadasat, we will say it is Sadasat Vilakshana. Now I will request Mysore Madhusudan to chant this beautiful Dasha Shloki. Madhu, please.
गुरुभ्यो नमः। न भूमिर्न तोयन्न तेजो न वायुः न खन्नेन्द्रियं वा न तेषां समूहः अनैकान्तिकत्वात् सुषुप्त्येकसिद्धः तदेको वशिष्ठ शिवः केवलोऽहम्। न वर्णा न वर्णाश्रमाचारधर्माः न मे धारणाध्यानयोगादयोऽपि अनात्मा सृजाहं ममाध्यासहनात् तदेको वशिष्ठ शिवः केवलोऽहम्। न माता पिता वा न देवा न लोकाः न वेदा न यज्ञा न तीर्थं भ्रुवन्ति सुषुप्तौ निरस्तातिशून्यात्मकत्वात् तदेको वशिष्ठ शिवः केवलोऽहम्। न साङ्ख्यं न शैवं न तत्पाञ्चरात्रम् न जैनं न मीमांसकारेर्मतं वा विशिष्टानुभूत्या विशुद्धात्मकत्वात् तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् न चोर्ध्वं न चाधो न चान्तर्न बाह्यम् न मध्यं न तिर्यन्न पूर्वापरादिक् वियद्व्यापकद्वादखण्डैकरूपः तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् न शुक्लं न कृष्णं न रक्तं न पीतम् न कुच्चन्न पीनं न ह्रस्वन्न दीर्घम् अरूपं तथा ज्योतिराकारकत्वात् तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् न शास्ता न शास्त्रं न शिष्यो न शिक्षा न च त्वं न चाहं न चायं प्रपञ्चः स्वरूपावबोधो विकल्पा सहिष्णुः तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् न जाग्रन् न मे स्वप्न को वा सुषुप्तिः न विश्वो न वा तैजसः प्राज्ञको वा अविद्यात्मकत्वात्रयाणां तुरीयः तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् अपिव्यापकत्वाद्धितत्वप्रयोगात् स्वतः सिद्धभावादनन्याश्रयत्वात् जगत्तुच्छमेतत्तमस्तं तदन्यत् तदेको वशिष्ठ शिव केवलोऽहम् न चैकं तदन्यत् द्वितीयं कुतः स्यात् न वा केवलत्वं न चाकेवलत्वम् न शून्यं न चाशून्यमद्वैतकत्वात् कथं सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धं ब्रवीमि कथं सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धं ब्रवीमि
Thank you very much, Madhu. Such a nice and a melodious rendering. And let this last line, Tadeko Vashishtaha Shiva Kevaloham. When I negate everything and come to the negator, I discover the reality in me in deep sleep is pure auspiciousness, that is Shiva. So Brihadaranyaka, chapter 2, also like chapter 1, has got 6 Brahmanas or section. I will briefly touch on all, but my whole aim is to bring about the essence of Vedanta. I'm not going into the mantras, but I will just show you the important mantras. The focus of this chapter is Apavada, and those words, Neti, Neti. Wherever the mantras Neti, Neti comes, I will highlight. The first Brahmana is called an Ajatashatru Brahmana. Ajatashatru is a king and contemporary of King Janaka. And there are some 4 topics here. We will touch on each of these 4 topics. So what is Ajatashatru, or was also called Gargiya Brahmana? Swamiji tells it is not Gargi. Gargi is a lady who comes later on. We're talking about Gargiya. a certain Brahmana teacher comes to the court of Ajatashatru and he says, I can teach you about Brahman. So Ajatashatru very happily welcomes him. He knows King Janaka, whenever great scholars come, he offers them 1,000 cows and sometimes their horns full of gold as Guru Dakshana. He says, like King Janaka does, I will also offer you. Please tell me what you know about Brahman. And then Gargiya gives a detailed description of whatever he knows. And all that he spoke was about Saguna Brahman. Then Ajatashatru, the king, asks, do you know about Nirguna Brahman? And he says, oh, I'm not aware of what is Nirguna Brahman. Now the whole scenario changes. See, when Gargiya was teaching, he was made to sit on the throne and the king sits down. Now, when the student realizes, that means now the king realizes that he knows more than the so-called teacher, the positions rechange. Now the teacher takes the higher position and the Ajatashatru becomes the teacher and Gargiya now becomes the student. Now there is the description about Nirguna Brahman. And the king says, now if you want to analyze your true nature, I want you to analyze a sleeping person. Now, all of us in our families, you will see children or adults when they are fast asleep. When a person is asleep, they do not respond to any of the usual stimuli, especially if they are in deep sleep. In deep sleep, no sound, no touch, no with variations like light, anything can disturb them. They are as if they are not responding at all. Now, but when a person wakes up, he wakes up and he also remembers that I slept well. Now, based on this analysis, he makes a description that during sleep, what has happened, there is apavada to what? Mano, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. All these are not there. When you have negated all that, but you are still there, consciousness is at a very low level, but existence is there. That existence, Ajatashatru describes in all of us, is what's called pure existence or sanmatra. We remember in Sri Dakshinamurti Stotra, sanmatra or pure existence comes in the sixth mantra. Rahu grasta divakarendra sadrisho maya samachadanat sanmatra. Sanmatra means when karana upasamharana, have all the organs have gone into are not functioning because the person is in deep sleep. When a person is in deep sleep, what really goes to sleep is your mind. And when you are your mind, the eko avashishta, what is left is Shiva Kevaloham. That is what is called Sanmatra. True freedom, remember, is not freedom for I, it is freedom from I. When I wake up with my mind, the I, the ahankara is born. Now, we know my mind is my greatest enemy, my mind is my greatest friend. My greatest instrument to do anything, I need my mind. Mana eva manushyanam karana bandha mokshaye. Through the sleeping example, you realize I am already Purna. But because of the mind sort of puts an avarana on my reality and I don't experience that Purnatvam. But now, through Guru and Shastra, I know my reality. Although I have woken up and I experience limitations, this waking up is like a putting on the costume of your body to playing a role all the time, remembering I am Sanmatra. I am Shiva Kevala. I am Shiva in disguise as man, woman, young, old. This is the teaching coming in this Brahmana, where you discover Mahavakya, where you discover Shiva Kevala. That is what is called Aham Brahmasmi. And there are so many mantras, and in the mantras, they give the example of spider and the example of Vispulinga, sparks, which come in Undaka Upanishad. What does it mean? It means that this consciousness which I am is the source of the whole world, just like the spider creates the web. And yatornana bi srijate girnate cha, you remember in Mundako, and yatha sudipta pavakad vispulingaha, you remember exactly, can you see, in the second Brahmana, and the second chapter in the first Brahmana. We are in the first Brahmana only. Remember Ajatashatru Brahmana, where he's giving the teaching of the sleeping person example in mantra 20. You have the Yatornanabi example and the Vispulinga example also. I'm not going into these details because these mantras are very big. And in the English transliteration, you see the same thing. We come to the fourth topic, where the Upanishad is giving a new name for Brahman, and the new name for Brahman is called Satyasya Satya. I'm seeing one reality. This reality is also real, and this reality that we see is called Vyavaharika Satya. And there is a Paramarthika Satya which supports this Vyavaharika Satya. And who is that one who supports? It is me, this consciousness, all that. So the essence of Vedanta is brought about in this first Brahmana called the Ajatashatru Brahmana, a very nice Brahmana indeed. Now, the second and the third chapter are a commentary on Satyasya Satya. The just like you have Jyotisham Api Jyoti, the light of all lights, the truth of all truths, and that you will see in this Brahmana. The second and the third Brahmana are elaboration on this Yashti, Samashti, and all that. There is one word that comes repeatedly, Murta and Amurta. Murta means with form, Amurta means without form. That is why the third Brahmana has got the name Murta Amurta Brahmana. So essentially, we are studying what is this Paramarthika Satyam, or the absolute truth. And that is the witness, and that is the one that cannot be negated when you do the Niti exercise. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. But finally, you come to the negator. The negator cannot be negated. And that negator is the Satyasya Satyam, and that is Brahman. And that is brought about in Brahmana number 3. And if you want to see with the second chapter, Brahmana number 3, mantra number 6, again, Niti comes, and Satyasya Satyam iti. So just to show you the important mantras. Now I come to, we finished Brahmana 1, Brahmana 2, Brahmana 3, Murta, Amurta, Brahmana, and we have now come to the fourth Brahmana. The fourth Brahmana is the most important Brahmana of the entire Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This, very strangely, this Brahmana appears both in the second chapter and in the fourth chapter. Therefore, when we come to the fourth chapter, 2 weeks from now, I will not be repeating this. This Brahmana is called Maitreyi Brahmana because it's a discussion between Yagnavalkya and his former wife. Now she has become a student. I have told the story already. Now he is a very, 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 very rich jnani. He is what is called Vidvat Sannyasi. That means he's fully knowledgeable, but he wants to take sannyas. And although a jnani is taking sannyas, Adi Shankara speaks elaborately about the importance of sannyas in what is called a sannyasi brahmana. And then he also brings in that, Gargi, his wife, not Gargi, Maitreyi. Now, Maitreyi, his wife, if she has to learn, she could not learn as a wife, but she had to become a student and she had to take sannyas. So there again, Adi Shankara gives the importance of sannyasi. Now, in this Brahmana, one important question comes, whom do you love the most? So there are so many mantras, but there is one mantra which comes in so many forms. And Yagnavalkya makes a very nice analysis. And in the analysis, it goes like this. Everybody loves himself or herself the most. Now, why do everybody else we love conditionally, but we love ourselves unconditionally? And then he makes you understand why is that we love ourselves unconditionally. All of us love a source of ananda. So I must be a source of joy. Then Yagnavalkya says, if you are a source of joy, isn't it worth knowing? That's for worth knowing. It is, we say the word is neyam. Neyam is that which is worth knowing. Vigneyatimam is visheshanai, very specially you should know. So he'll say, you have to know yourself. You have to know that source of joy in yourself. And the big question is, how do I know that source of joy? Can I sit and, inquire, who am I? Who am I? Am I a source of joy? By myself, whatever I do with my limited knowledge, I cannot do. That is why Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan. I go to a guru who has discovered a Shrotriya Brahmanashta. And a Brahmanishta guru uses the guru and Shastras. Then he will say, Atma va are drashtavya. You have to see aparokshataya. That means you have to see Atma as yourself. And how do you do it? He gives a commandment. Shrotavyam, mantavyam, niditasittavyam. Oh Maitreyi, that is the method. So these are the mantras in the BRIHADARANYAKA Upanishad. Now I am going to mantra number 5. Now, what are the earlier mantras? The earlier mantras are all the same question. See, we are in mantra 5. Nava are sarvasya kamaya. He began by saying Nava are pati kamaya. Pati means, why do you love your husband so much? And then whether you like your husband or your wife or your putra or your vitta or your wealth, and then he analyzes. Now he comes to sarvasya. I'll just chant this mantra. Nava are sarvasya kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everybody loves himself or herself the most. When you say, I love my husband, I love my son, I love my wealth, all those are conditional, but we love ourselves the most. And if you have to know yourself, you have to know yourself aparokshataya, drashtavyam. You have to have a clear vision of yourself. And that comes through shravanam, mananam, and nidithyasitamya. Finally, when the teacher will help you to discover mano, buddhi, ahankara, chittanina. That me, the source of Ananda, is Shiva Kevala. And that Shiva is in the form of consciousness. That consciousness is not part of my body. It's not a product of my body. It is an independent entity which is all-pervading, like my sarvam idam protam, like space, sutre manigana eva. I am immanent and transcendental. I am outside the body. I am inside the body also. And I'm of a higher order, and therefore, if anything happens to this body, it cannot affect me, but it will not be able to manifest. So I discover the real me is consciousness or Chaitanya Rupam. And then he will tell you that Chaitanya Rupam is the cause of the whole world through so many examples. And then I am not only the cause of the whole world, like the dreamer creates the dream world, I am the cause of all. And Swamiji gives a final conclusion. You here move from being a creature to being a creator. From the Tamil Al to, from Tamil Al, that means from being the limited me to Perum Al, I am all. And that is how the Maitreyi Brahmana concludes. Finally, the 5th chapter, called Madhu Brahmana. Why is it called Madhu Brahmana? Madhu here means interdependent. The whole creation that I see is interdependent, and interdependent means mithya. And the technical word for mithya here is Madhu. And Madhu comes so many times. That is why the entire Kandam is called Madhu Kandam. If everything is mithya, then who is the Satyam? I, the one who's supporting all of them, I am the Satya. That is the Satyasya Satya. Finally, the last Brahmana, that is called Vamsha Brahmana. This Vamsha Brahmana, it brings about to tell you this whole knowledge is not a knowledge by one person. It has come Sadashiva Samarambha. So there is a tracing from God, a Guru Shishya Parampara, and hundreds of teachers are listed. This whole Brahmanas, there are so many mantras going on like this. Now, this teacher taught to this student, and this student taught to somebody else, and there are many mantras. There is no teaching, but it is said if you remember these mantras, you will get a lot of punya. So that is the overview of the second chapter of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful to Dr. Timappa Hegde, sir. Just saying thank you doesn't seem enough. He explains everything so clearly and makes it easy for us to understand. We are excited to continue learning from him and look forward to studying more of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the upcoming weeks. Also, a heartfelt thanks to Madhusudan sir for beautifully rendering the Dashashloka with his mesmerizing voice. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad classes will be premiered every Monday at 6:45 p.m. Don't miss session 3 of the insightful text Drik Drishya Viveka on Friday, 30th May. Friends, let's conclude today's session with the Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om